You know what? I'm just gonna say it like this, okay? If Ling Hussle does not blow by the end of 2021, the game's fixed. Like the game's actually fixed. I don't know what to tell you. Go listen to Spirit Soul right now, literally right now. Don't even bother watching this review. Just go listen to Spirit Soul. It's sick. I don't know what else to tell you. Ling Hussle is one hell of an R&B artist. I first got into her via the song One Reason that ended up in my inbox, as a lot of songs end up in my inbox a lot of the time. And generally listening to her mixtape Hustlin' Dreams, which was a great debut. And what I think is Ling Hussle's strength is that she has a very powerful voice that she can use in different ways, which means she can capture a lot of different styles and different R&B trends because of all the different music influences that she has. But she can also tackle into a lot of the newer trends that have come in R&B over the last 5 or so years. I mean, she can do everything. In terms of R&B, she really can just do everything. Before we get into the album, if you don't quite fancy UK R&B as your kind of thing and kind of what you would watch in terms of review, please check out my other stuff. I've got plenty of other different genres that I cover on this channel. She can really tap into those late 90s, early 2000s sort of R&B trends with songs like 100% and 1942 and the kind of love ballad song concept that is very familiar to R&B. She's very good at that, and she definitely has the vocal range and vocal ability to pull that off. She's really good at putting together really good harmonies on these songs as well that really fits within that entire vibe, especially on 1942. I found the harmonies on that song to just be just so clean.
Niggas, they been around. If you did know me then, you can't know me now. What you thinking? You been tripping, it's different now.
She also draws upon some soul influences as well. Songs like On the Way, it's got a lot of those blues vibes, the trumpet as well, and that bass line. It's a bit more modernized and it's very much up in tempo from what soul usually is, but it definitely has that element to it. But because of the modernization that's going on with the instrumental and how she sings on it, it just creates a whole different dimension and something that you can just bop along to a little bit more. And I feel like also she holds on to her British identity with the lyrics, you know, like still writing bars in the hallway, that sort of thing. Like it really holds on to her British identity, and I like that as well. You feel like a lot of the time, a lot of R&B singers that do tap into a lot of these essences and a lot of these different influences, they kind of Americanize in a way, but I feel like Ling still sounds very British when she sings on these kind of tracks, which I do like. Like these tracks with the more R&B 90s R&B influences and the soul ones have some really nice instrumentation to them. The kind of blues bass guitar bass line with the kind of trumpets added in as well. It's really got that whole vibe that it's just so relaxing, but it's also a bop at the same time. Gio, so Gio, is another great example of this in terms of the instrumentation and how she sings on it. It's just so good. And because she's so good at picking melodies and singing patterns and just switching them up as the song goes along to keep you interested, yet again, this sort of thing, it's perfect for her.
Cause we're on the way, work smart, grind hard. We been through it, so now to see us shine hard. Real hard, never back down, now to say the times.
For anyone who's actually been watching my quick rant series that's on my Instagram page, if you haven't watched that, please, my IG is linked in the description. Go check it out. But one of my quick rants was on unnecessary singing and talking specifically about there are R&B artists doing the whole melodic rapping thing better than rappers. Ling Hussle is one of those R&B artists because she taps into the whole melodic rapping thing, and Jesus Christ, it's really damn good. Although Ling Hussle can have a very powerful voice at times, which usually is quite hard to keep up when you're coming with these quite intricate flows, Ling Hussle has no problem with it. The vocal ability doesn't drop off despite how technical she's getting with the flows and how they're more rap flows than anything rather than just straight up singing. And she's really good at it, and there's plenty of tracks that show that she's really good at it on this tape. Songs like Fake Love, Millionaire, and specifically Big is a big favourite of mine in terms of the melody she's picked and the kind of flows that she's using and how tight they are, but the vocal quality does not drop, and her vocal range is just so wide that she can kind of go up or down in terms of what she can achieve, in terms of what notes she can hit. She's giving Tory Lanez a run for his money in terms of how good she is at picking out melodies. Like, Big is a perfect example of this.
Big rims, big wheels, big balls, yeah, I'm such a big deal. Big balls taking over my field. Big body, and we never own. Yeah, we do it big, 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 big. Everything is big, every fucking.
She also does a great job of playing around with song structures as well. Just giving a lot of variation across the entire tape with all sorts of different song structures. The beat switches of Sins / Spirit Soul is a nice touch as well. And the way she comes along and kind of really switches it up in terms of her tone from Sins to Spirit Soul, where she's really come with that powerful, energetic vibe in terms of the melodies on Spirit of Soul is very uplifting, while Sins, it's a bit more in your party next door bag, which she kind of goes into in other areas of the tape. And she also does this thing on Fake Love where she's kind of like, is she going to rap or is she going to sing or is she going to melodic rap? You can't really quite tell because she has so many bags that she dips into. And because she varies the song structures, it's not predictable at all. Fake Love is another great example. She starts out singing, then dips into the melodic rap, and then just starts straight up rapping. And yes, she can straight up rap as well, by the way. In terms of just her straight up rapping bag, she really does get into it, not just necessarily just as a way to vary song structure, but there are songs where she's just straight up rapping for the whole thing. Songs like Running, which I didn't quite like the instrumental on that one. I felt like the melody was a bit too much in your face with the pianos. I just felt they were too loud and too high on my ear, especially with all the panning going on with the melodies and some of the vocals panning from left to right. Felt too in my face, but One for One was a lot better for me, and I feel like the rapping itself is still good. The flows are pretty tight and the bars are quite nice, and she does have some couple punchlines that she throws around here and there and everywhere. So in terms of actual rap ability, she's got that covered too. On top of all of that, she can even, like I said before, get into her party next door bag with the kind of new trends in R&B with these kind of dark and moody R&B beats where the tempo slowed really right down, which is quite close to kind of soul in terms of the tempos, but in terms of the actual melodies, the synths are just very dark and sinister and moody, and the chopped and screwed vocal stabs underneath as well really add to that whole vibe. The kind of the Six Lacks and the Bryson Tillers of the world, the T.Y. Dollar Signs of the world, that sort of thing. And Ling Hussle can show that she can shine on that sort of stuff as well. Like songs like Gang Shit, Revenge, Imperfect, like in terms of that sort of thing, she really gets into it, but the harmonies that she adds into it because of her vocal range being so wide, it's just amazing what she can pull off on these kind of beats as well, especially on Revenge. Like, oh, some of the harmonies on this are just fucking nuts.
You cannot speak, you not picking up, it's fishy to me. What you getting up to, who you hanging with, I'm about to hop in my car. Push that shit start, drive to your house, I can hit my heart, pumping and racing, my mind going crazy. You better not be playing, nigga, I am not the one to water.
Notice how in those songs she's not talking about like lovey-dovey stuff that you normally get with normal R&B concepts. It's just basically greasy shit, which is essentially what UK Wave is. UK Wave is basically combining a lot of R&B elements, modernizing them, adding trap elements to it, and then changing the subject matter in the song concept. And she does a lot of that on this tape, and there are other songs that sound more like wave songs than R&B songs. A good example of that is Early Bird Gets the Wraith, where Ling Hussle really, it feels like a UK wave song. It's just the bass line doesn't have as many trap elements as a wave instrumental would have. But it would be very interesting if Ling Hussle was ever to try a UK wave type beat in the future. I think that would be something very interesting to try. I'd like to hear it. Maybe if you want to collab with someone else already established in UK Wave, I feel like Nave Smalls would be a good match for her, because personally I think vocally he's the only one who could ever keep up with Ling Hussle. I don't think there's anyone else really vocally who can keep up with her in UK Wave. And I guess in a way you could argue, well, what's the point if no one can keep up with her vocally in the whole genre? I don't know. I guess it would be fun. Overall comments, I mean, fuck it. I'm just gonna skip to the grade. B plus. I mean, I'm struggling to find things wrong with it. Like, apart from a couple beats where I felt that the melodies were a bit too in your ear, what's really wrong with it? The concept of the entire tape is nice. A lot of different varying song structures and song concepts as well. There's literally no blemishes in her vocal performance that I can really hear that I think that was a bit poor or that was a bit flimsy. She has so many different vocal ranges and styles that she can pull out the bag. The rap flows are quite nice and well, are quite tight. None of the bars I really felt were corny. Like, what? I don't really feel there's anything really wrong with it. There's nothing really objectively wrong with this tape. If you don't like it, you just don't like this sort of thing, and that's okay. But if you're looking for things objectively wrong with the tape and with the project, there just aren't any. There's just nothing objectively wrong with it. So, seeing as because of how I rate albums without shortlisting it for A tier in terms of like timeless and legendary music, a B plus is the highest I can possibly give this. It literally is the highest grade I can give it. Just go listen to the fucking album, man. So, you got to the end of the review. Thank you for watching if you watched all the way to the end. I am going to be doing a lot more R&B stuff as well. I think my next few reviews are quite a few R&B artists, funnily enough, and a bit more on the alternative side of things, because I feel like I have more fun doing that sort of thing. But there are a couple more mainstream projects coming out at the moment that I do plan on doing videos for, that I have made notes for. So like and subscribe if anything that I do interests you, or anything that I talked about earlier that I'm doing in the future interests you. Please go back and watch any of my previous stuff in terms of reviews. That would really help me in the channel. Share with your friends. It's that sort of a thing. I understand I have a different style to everybody else. I do a lot more talking, and it's a lot more in hindsight after many listens and picking out things rather than first impressions and reactions, and I'm hoping that some of you appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys will continue watching in the future. Peace.